We are the leader of a Dermo Botanical Beauty, which means we have not only natural products, we have safe products, but very efficient products. But even dermatologists, they could say, oh yes, I recommend. We really see the Thai market as a huge opportunity for us. It's a big market. The issue we have is that we're too small. We've been there 32 years, as I said. It's now time to accelerate because the consumer needs is really matching what we do.
Oh. Do you think this initiative will be a burden? I mean, it takes cost and it takes time.
We don't see it as a burden. Okay. We don't see it as a cost. It needs to be done. Two advices, I would say. One is don't go international before you're very strong in your own market. And the second one, I think being herbal, natural is not enough anymore in the market. What is the benefit, the ultimate benefit you give to the consumer? We're not going to be great in China. We're not going to be great in Korea. The markets are already mature and they're less into natural products than Thai market. The consumer needs to know about us and what we do. So we need to shout.
Shout.
Yeah, shout.
Out loud.
Yeah, out loud. Exactly.
สนับสนุนโดย Yves Rocher
เมื่อพูดถึงตลาดความงามในประเทศไทยต้องบอกว่าเติบโตมากๆนะครับมี beauty product ที่แข่งขันในมาร์เก็ตนี้เยอะมากวันนี้ผมจะได้คุยกัน1แบรนด์ซึ่งโชคดีมากครับเพราะว่าผมจะคุยกับคนที่เป็น CEO ระดับ global เลยนะครับเป็นแบรนด์จากฝรั่งเศสครับอยู่ในเมืองไทยมา30กว่าปีชื่อว่า Yves Rocher ครับ Yves Rocher มีหลาย product มากๆนะครับตั้งแต่ skin care ตั้งแต่ body care ตั้งแต่ hair careแต่ว่าสิ่งที่น่าสนใจที่สุดในแบรนด์นี้ก็คือแบบภาพข้างหลังผมนี่แหละครับ
จุดเด่นของเขาก็คือ Dermo Botanical Beauty Dermatology แปลว่าเรื่องของแพทย์ผิวหนังครับ Botanical แปลว่ามาจากพืชหรือพฤกษาพันธุ์ Dermo Botanical Beauty จึงแปลว่าความงามจากพฤกษาพันธุ์ที่แพทย์ผิวหนังแนะนำนั่นเองครับ
60 กว่าปีแล้วครับที่เขาเริ่มก่อตั้งมาโดยคนที่ชื่อว่า Yves Rocher นี่แหละครับและเชื่อในเรื่องของ natural product มากๆเชื่อในเรื่องของธรรมชาตินั่นทำให้เขาพยายามควบคุมการผลิตทั้งหมดนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นการปลูกพืชสมุนไพรของเขาเองการเก็บเกี่ยวเองและนำมาผลิตเองเขาทุ่มงบในการทำ R&D เรื่องของ natural product เนี่ยสูงมากๆวันนี้มีความท้าทายใหญ่ของเขาก็คือ CEO พูดกับผมเองเลยครับว่าในตลาดไทยยังทำได้ไม่ดีพอครับเขามองว่าตลาดไทยนั้นจริงๆแล้วพร้อมแล้ววันนี้เขาจะมาแชร์อินไซต์ให้เลยนะครับว่าตลาดไทยผู้บริโภคเป็นอย่างไรหลายคนที่เกิดว่าทำธุรกิจเกี่ยวข้องกับความงามน่าจะได้ประโยชน์จากเรื่องนี้แต่อีกมุมนึงเราจะได้เห็นมุมมองระดับโลกครับว่าเขามีกลยุทธ์หรือมี strategy อย่างไรที่จะ penetrate หรือว่าจะเข้ามาบุกในตลาดไทยเขาใช้คำว่า shout out loud strategy ครับน่าสนใจมากเดี๋ยวลองไปฟังดูครับSo Mr. Guillaume, thank you for joining us, and it's such an honor to have you here on my show. First of all, I would like to know about your background a little bit. I heard that you have had extensive experience in retail and e-commerce.
Thank you for having me. I'm a French citizen, as you know, but I've been traveling a lot abroad and working abroad with two parts in my career. One is finance.
Really?
I started as a banker.
Banker?
Okay. Financing companies to expand abroad or to acquire other companies. But then I moved to retail and e-commerce for different companies and different countries like USA and Europe and Africa. And it's 25 years I've been now really in distribution, creating website and managing Yves Rocher for the last few months. So.
Okay. So why did you join Yves Rocher?
I've been in the Group Rocher. Group Rocher is a multi-brand group, cosmetics mainly, a little bit of textile as well. I've been in the Group Rocher for 9 years, starting with international retail, international e-commerce as well. Then I move on within the group, and previously to Yves Rocher, I was managing Petit Bateau, a children textile company within the Group Rocher. And about a year ago, was offered, I was a lucky guy, offered the position of CEO of Yves Rocher. And I joined this company and this group because of the values of the group.
Okay.
Because of the DNA of the group, We're very close to nature, and that's a topic I'm very proud of and very keen on working to respect the planet and to protect the planet. So the group is very much about that, and Yves Rocher is even more about that because it's been created, maybe we'll talk about it later, but it's been created a long time ago on that DNA of protecting the planet.
Okay. So as a CEO, what are you seeing in this market? And what is your role to, respond to the market?
A CEO is there also to listen. A lot of, and before we interview, I was talking to some Gen Z people, so to understand better the market.
Okay.
My role is very much to push the company and the people and work with the people where there are opportunities. And we really see the Thai market as a huge opportunity for us. It's a big market in the world, and it's already a big market for us. We've been here 32 years.
Okay.
So the brand is not famous, but there's some awareness of the brand. The issue we have is that we're too small. So it's a great market for us, but we have a tiny market share. So we want really to grow very fast, very quickly, and we have the right products for that.
Okay. So before talking about Thai market, I would like to know about your brand. So what is the mission, core values, and how has it changed over the years?
The mission, before we talk about the mission, for us at Groupe Rocher and for me as a CEO of the brand, there are two objectives.
Okay.
One is to make profit.
Sure.
Because a company has to make profit to be able to invest. It's not profit for profit, but if you don't have profit, you cannot invest in the future. And the second one, we have a mission. And it's not only just a mission, it's a mission that we have put in our status, in our company status, so we need to respect it. And that mission is very much into acting to reveal, to protect, and to transmit the power of plants. We've been born with nature, and we want to give back to nature. So we want to transmit and protect that power of plants. You know that the plants are very much into the well-being of people.
Right.
They are healthy for nutrition, but also for your skincare, for example. And that's what we want to develop, that mission.
Okay. So it's really interesting when you say about the power of nature. So what do you mean by that? I mean, how do you transfer the power of nature into our skin or...
Okay, let's start at the very, very beginning.
Sure.
That means 65 years ago, Mr. Yves Rocher, the founder, had a dramatic event. His dad died when he was 14.
Oh.
And he was very unhappy, very struggling with the loss of his dad. And he spent a lot of time in forests like that. And he developed a concern about nature. He developed a friendship with nature.
Oh.
And he understood the well-being of nature.
Wow.
Because spending time with nature helped him to take over his life, to get peace, also of mind. And also he understands the power of the plants in terms of what it does to your skin and things like that.
How did he train himself?
He trained on his own to start with. And now, of course, we have 350 people working in our labs, our own labs. But at the time, he trained himself and he tested and he tested and he tested. And that's why we like that test and learn mentality, agility at Yves
So
Rocher.
he didn't go to any university?
No, he didn't educate. And he started very early, his career, with one cream that he developed. And then it's sold very well.
What was the first product?
It was a cream to smooth...
moisturizer, something like that.
Exactly, to smooth your skin. And it worked so well that it started with a catalog business, and then it went into retail, and then it went into e-commerce. And of course, now we know that nature brings really benefits to people, whether, as we said, about nutrition, but also about your health and about skin now. And the 65 years of experience we have working on the skin and the plants, because we have our own laboratory, our own botanical garden, we cultivate our plants ourselves. we have that experience and that expertise of botanical so that we can develop very efficient products. And that's something unique about Yves Rocher, is that value chain.
Okay.
We the only one in the world to have botanists, and then we harvest the plants in our own fields. So we have fields in Brittany.
Wow.
60 hectares, so it's quite big. And not only we harvest, but we produce in our factories, and we distribute ourselves. And that value chain, from the beginning to the end, is helping us to trace the product for safety purposes, but more important, to develop the efficient formula, and also to be accessible in terms of prices. So we consider ourselves as a premium brand, but very accessible because of the whole value chain we do ourselves.
Oh, so you control 100% of your value chain.
We control almost 100% of the value chain. For example, the products we selling in Thailand, 95% are made in France, and 93% in our own factories. So we control almost the 100%, but not totally yet the 100%. Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah.
นั่นแหละครับคือจุดแข็งของ Yves Rocher แบรนด์ที่มีต้นกำเนิดจากฝรั่งเศสเขาสามารถควบคุมห่วงโซ่การผลิตได้ทั้งหมดเกือบ 100% เป็นสิ่งที่เรียกว่า vertical integration ตั้งแต่ต้นน้ำไปจนถึงปลายน้ำถือได้ว่าเป็นแบรนด์ที่ตั้งต้นมาเพื่อความยั่งยืนหรือ sustainability รักโลกมาตั้งแต่ day one เลยนะครับคำถามสำคัญก็คือ Yves Rocher ทำทุกอย่างเองขนาดนี้ได้อย่างไรมีกลยุทธ์ในการควบคุมต้นทุนอย่างไรอะไรคือความท้าทายและอะไรคือสิ่งที่เขาต้องแลกมาครับ
First, we opposite to most of the companies. Most of the companies, they buy formulas on the shelf,
Yes.
and they package it, and they sell it.
Right.
Reality of these products, most of them, they're not very efficient. And some of them are not very safe.
Okay.
So, because we're coming from 65 years old, nature driven, we want to make sure we develop safe products and very efficient products. That's why we decided to have the full value chain. Sometimes it could be more efficient to do it somewhere else. Sometimes. But you don't control it, so you don't know exactly what they put as ingredients in your product. We want to control everything. We want to make sure that our ingredients we cultivate in our fields, they are organic, and that's not just written organic. We know they're organic because we cultivate ourselves. And when we harvest them the right way so that we don't put any more carbon footprint into the value chain. So it has benefits and inconvenience to do everything, but for the consumer, we think it's better. And for the planet, definitely think it's better because we can reduce the carbon footprint. If you give your products to somebody else to produce, you cannot control the carbon footprint and protect the planet. So that's why we're going that way. Sometimes our company is less profitable than others, like the big groups, chemical groups, but we're happy with that.
Oh.
We're happy to be slightly less profitable because we also have a mission. And that's where we go back to our mission, reveal the power of plants.
Okay. So what are the biggest challenges using this strategy?
One of the challenges is exactly as you said, vertical integration means you need to be good at most of the things, and sometimes you have issues with your factory, sometimes you have issues with the weather when you harvest. So it's one of the operational challenge. But I'd say the main challenge today is we need to accelerate on sustainability. And the other thing, we need to accelerate in Asia, which strategically, Asia is a massive region with different countries, and we targeting Southeast Asia, and Thailand's going to be the biggest country for us in Asia. But we need to understand better the market. We need to develop, to invest in the market, so maybe we'll talk about it later. So the two challenges, one is developing Thailand, particularly, and Southeast Asia. And if I go back to sustainability, we used to be very much into nature, as you know, and we're very much into it still. Ingredients, natural ingredients, that's great, but it's not enough to protect the planet. So if you want to protect the planet, you need to reduce your packaging.
Right.
You need to reduce plastic.
Right.
Very much so, single-use plastic. And so we're embarking on a journey which is a very tough one, to have pretty much no plastic in 10 years, to reduce our carbon footprint, We already reduced by 50% in the last 4-5 years. We need to reduce even more carbon, and that's making us changing everything we do. Consignment, plastic use, refill, selling solid products. We started selling solid products like solid shampoo or solid hygiene soap, and it's working very well because the new generation, the Gen Z, they want us also to do things for the planet. And it's not only the ingredients are natural, it's also the plastic, as we said.
Do you think this initiative will be a burden? I mean, it takes cost and it takes time.
We don't see it as a burden. We don't see it as a cost. It needs to be done. Again, we have our mission. If we want to reveal, protect the power of plants, we have to do it. Otherwise, Yves Rocher doesn't exist. Even if I push that logic further, if the nature is not there, we have no products. We cannot produce. So we need to protect it. It's very important for us to see it as an investment. Yes, it costs more, but we don't see it like that because the consumer needs is also about it. So you have the planet to protect and consumer needs really to satisfy.
What advice would you give to try entrepreneurs who try to leverage their roots? You know, we have a lot of herbs, forests, plants, but it's very local product. What is your best practice?
Thai entrepreneurs on cosmetics have great DNA with herbals and natural products. But two advices, I would say. One is don't go international before you're very strong in your own market, because it's going to be harder outside of your own market. And the second one, I think being herbal natural is not enough anymore in the market. There's too many brands claiming natural, herbal, whether in Thailand, but in some other countries, in Asia particularly. So you really need to have a big differentiation, whether it's on safety of a product, what traceability can you prove to the consumer, and better, and efficacy of your product. What is the benefit? What's the differential benefit versus the competition you're bringing to the consumer? You cannot be a Me Too brand. Again, as we mentioned, there's too many brands advertising. So what is the benefit, the ultimate benefit you give to the consumer? If I take, for example, a product is coming in the next few months, we're going to call it Lift Pro Collagen, which is a cream to lift, your skin. It's natural, of course, but the collagen we have, compared with the others, is not only natural instead of chemical for some people, but it's very efficient. And why it's very efficient? Because we extract the plants ourselves, to extract with a new methodology, which is cryptology, very cold way of extraction, very freezing way of extraction, which keeps the actives very strong. More actives and the stronger actives, which gives you a more lifting effect versus the competition. So it's the kind of example I can give you in terms of showing the way we innovate and the way of our science. Again, we have 65 years of experience of R&D. So every time we find new ways of finding the right actives, but also extracting the best part of the active, so that the consumer has the biggest benefit.
So the key is innovation.
It's part of it, yeah. Again, being patient, because for example, if I take Lift Pro Collagen, it took us about 10 years to find the right ingredient, the right way of extracting that ingredient, so that the benefit is bigger than the competition.
หลังจากที่เราเห็นภาพ global ภาพใหญ่ของ Yves Rocher กันไปแล้วต่อไปผมจะพาทุกท่านไปเจาะลึกพฤติกรรมผู้บริโภคของบ้านเรากันบ้างครับในด้านตลาดความงามของภูมิภาคเอเชียนั้นแบรนด์ยักษ์ใหญ่อย่าง Yves Rocher เขาเห็นอะไรพวกเขามีกลยุทธ์ในการบุกตลาดประเทศไทยของเราอย่างไรบ้างและผมขอเริ่มคำถามสำคัญก่อนเลยนะครับทำไม Yves Rocher ถึงเลือกบุกตลาดประเทศไทยและเอเชียครับ
So let's talk about your strategy to penetrate in this region. But first of all, why Thailand? Why Asia? It's one of the biggest markets right now.
Thailand, the two answers. One, very nice people.
Thank you so much.
No, it's a very nice country, very welcoming country, but it's one part of the thing. Obviously, we're there for business. It's a big market. It's, I think, the 17th market in the world, growing very fast. We want a chunk of it. We want a part of it. We've been there 32 years, as I said. It's now time to accelerate because the consumer needs is really matching what we do.
Oh.
The consumer, they want natural products, as you know. They want safe products, and they want efficient products.
You think this is the right time?
Yeah. Efficiency of a product, safety of a product is even more important today in Thailand and in some other countries than it used to be. The Gen Z, they want that.
Okay.
They want safety, efficacy, natural. And that's what we deliver. So that's now that we need to accelerate.
Okay.
Particularly in Thailand, but it's going to be also in Malaysia and Indonesia.
I'm pretty sure that you have done so many research, market insights, customer behavior changes here. So can you share us a little bit?
We have great marketing team within Yves Rocher, but also within Yves Rocher Thailand. What we're seeing is that the population here in Thailand is very young compared with the French, particularly, but also with the whole Europe. And they want even more safety and natural products than what we can find in Europe. So that's where we want to go. And they're more into digital, and more digital, even more than Europe.
Okay.
So that's another area where we need to accelerate with the Gen Z in particular in Thailand.
Okay, safer, more digital.
Safer, more digital, and they want the proof of the efficiency of the products. It's not just to say, oh, we're very efficient, we have efficacy. What's the proof? What's the facts? You know, if I buy my skin cream from Yves Rocher, what is going to do for me? What is the very strong benefit you're going to give to me?
Okay. So I did some research on your website, and I saw your challenges. I mean, your quote on your website, and I want to structure the rest of interview by that. Okay. You said that your job is to enhance or improve profitability in short term, and finding growth drivers in medium term, and then embrace sustainability practice in long term. So what strategy are you implementing in short term? How do you improve your profitability in Thailand?
It's not automatically in Thailand, the profitability. Profitability is globally in the world. We need to improve it. Why we need to improve it? As I said, not profit for profit, but I need to invest in the brand.
Okay.
The desirability, the second part you said, desirability of the brand. So in order to increase the profit, we're changing the organization so that we're more efficient. We delegate more to the market. We don't redo things everywhere in the world. And that's saving a little bit of cost for us. That cost, we're reinvesting in the brand.
Okay.
Our brand is great. And I think it's, with humility, it's a very good brand. 65 years we've been doing safety, efficacy, but nobody knows. Or not enough people know about it. So we need to tell the consumer.
Okay.
We need to increase the awareness, particularly in Thailand, but not only, but a lot in Thailand. So that's why we invested in media in Thailand in the last few months, and we will continue.
Okay, totally agree. And I think in Thailand, the beauty market is quite competitive. It's a red ocean, right? So how do you stand out from other products? On how do you compete in this dynamic landscape?
It's a very competitive market. You're right to mention Thailand, but in France, I can tell you it's a red ocean as well, but we're still number one in France, and we've been number one for, I think, close to 20 years in France, so it's feasible. But we need to convey what we're good at.
Okay.
And I think the key message, it's really we are a sort of Dermo Botanical brand. We are the leader of a Dermo Botanical Beauty, which means we have not only natural products, we have safe products, but very efficient products. That even dermatologists, they could say, oh yes, I recommend. And that's the way to go.
Okay.
And that's what we need to push in that, what you mentioned, red ocean. Because in the world, but it's the same in Thailand, you have 10,000 brands. 10,000 brands competing with each other.
Yes.
So how do you get out of the market? Well, the consumer needs to know about us and what we do. So we need to shout.
Shout.
Yeah, shout.
Out loud.
Yeah, out loud, exactly. Shout who we are.
Okay.
Number one French brand. But also, we deliver very, very efficient and safe and natural products. You're going to see us a lot in Thailand.
Okay, I'm pretty sure. I'm interested in the process of shouting out loud. So in terms of marketing strategy, what is your strategy?
The strategy is going to be not only visibility and awareness. One part is that. That means we need to have more stores, digital stores, but also physical stores.
How many stores?
We have 65 point of sales right now in Thailand,
and
we need to grow to 150 very quickly.
Wow.
So to double the size.
Double in 2 years?
2-3 years.
Okay, wow.
And then it's also digital. And the Thai market is very, very digital. We on Lazada, we on Shopee, we have a window on our own website. But we need to be also on TikTok shop and so on. And we started TikTok a few months ago. So we need to increase the visibility of a brand where the consumer can shop. So that's one thing. The other thing is, how do they know about us before they go into the store or the digital shop? So we're going to shout, as we mentioned, and that's outdoor. But it's also very much about social networks, being more present on social networks, and using more KOLs, KOLs to build the credibility of a brand. More and more, we're going to use big KOLs or medium-sized KOL to tell their consumers, their community, who we are about safety, efficacy, and naturalness.
Oh, I assume that Yves Rocher is very proactive right now and in the future. So what challenges are you expecting? I mean, in the Thai market.
As you said, it's a red ocean. So we don't expect everything's going to work easily. You know, it's not just because you shout and you communicate that everything's going to come. So we need to be patient. The challenge, that's not my best quality, to be patient. I'm an impatient guy. So I need to be patient and build the brand, not only for the next 2-3 years. We are here to build the brand for the next 20-30 years. Because one thing we didn't mention is that it's a family business. So it's been created by Mr. Yves Rocher 65 years ago. He passed away. So now it's his grandson, Brice Rocher, who's managing the company and the group. He's there for the long generation. He's 40 plus, so he's got time to build a long-term business. We don't want to be here for 2 years or 3 years and then go away. If I take another example, what we did well and we want to replicate, we're in the top 5 brands in Turkey. Turkey is a big market, 80 million people, growing very fast. And within 10 years, we've been able to be in the top 5.
Really?
And my wish is to be in the top 5 in Thai markets. It's going to take years.
Okay.
It's not in the next 2-3 years. It's going to take maybe 10 years,
okay,
maybe 12, maybe 13. Maybe we'll see each other in 10 years, and I'll let you know if we're in the top 5. But I think that's important. We can compete with anyone in the world, honestly. If you look at France, we're number 1. If we look at Turkey, we're better than any brands. So we can do it. So patience is the first challenge. And also, I think that the other challenge is the team.
Okay.
The leadership team we have in Thailand. We need to build that team. We have the team now. We need to be stable. We need to really trust that team. I met with them for the last two days. They're a great team. So we need to trust them and push them a little bit towards an ambitious goal. But we need really to stabilize and get that great team that we have.
So what have you learned, or what is the best lesson from the success of in the Turkish market? And what kind of leadership are you looking for in Thailand?
What we learned from the Turkish market is really three things, three key success factors for us.
Oh.
The leadership team, and I'll talk a little bit more about it.
Sure.
Visibility of a brand, having point of sales, not only store, but also digital, and also being good at sustainability, which is our mission. So we need to cultivate that, protect the planet, which we're doing. We plant trees all over the world. We have actions here in the Thai market as well. I'm sure you don't know, but we have planted 130 million trees in the world in the last 20 years. That's amazing.
Anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world, in France, in Africa, because we think to protect the planet, it's not only in France. It's to protect the planet everywhere.
Wow, that's a good idea.
So if we go back to the leadership team and what we're looking for, we want people in our leadership team to be authentic, to be able to sort of say, I disagree with you, Guillaume. You know, you think from France that you should do that and that, but in the Thai market, it doesn't work like that. And I want people to disagree with me.
To challenge you?
To challenge me. And I want them, I will challenge them so they can challenge me. And that's very important. So authentic people capable of expressing themselves. We're looking for people capable of listening as well. It works, it doesn't work. Listen to the feedback. What do we change? We're looking for people very demanding. Demanding in the sense that, okay, we do a good job in the Thai market today, but it's not enough. We want to be in the top 5. So, okay, we don't want to be number 20 or 25 or 30. We want to be in the top 5. And maybe one day number 1. I don't know. Everything is feasible. So we want very demanding people. And we want trust. I give my trust to the leadership team in Thailand. They need to trust me as well that we're doing the right things with the products, with what we do in the value chain. They need to trust that as well.
Wow, that's great. So what is your leadership style?
Your
leadership philosophy?
it's more or less what I've described. I'm listening a lot. I'm pushing. Very, very pushy, very demanding, work hard. But at the same time, I can change my decision. If I think I made a wrong choice because they explained to me, my team, that no, it doesn't work because of that, I can change my decision. I think it's important to be able to listen to your team.
Wow.
Otherwise, you make the wrong decision in the long term. And my style is also to test and learn. We're going to test things in the Thai market. Some will work, some will not work. We're testing TikTok Shop, and it's working, and it's great. Let's push it. We creating new ventures in France, for example. Next month, within the next few days, we're going to create a marketplace, our own marketplace, a digital marketplace where other brands will come on the Yves Rocher website to sell their products because we're so strong. Will it work? I think it will work, but we will see. So it's a matter of testing things. The market is moving very, very quickly. You mentioned Red Ocean.
Yes.
So many brands. So if you think that you have the right answer day 1, day 2 it's changing. So today we about efficacy, we about naturalness. Things may change tomorrow. We need to be there and listen a lot, the consumers and our teams.
You said that you made a lot of mistakes. So can you share one? What was your biggest mistake that you learn a lot from them and want to share to our listeners?
Yeah, I've got one in mind on management. It's a long time ago. I was responsible or director, let's say, for a retail chain. I was managing a high number of stores in electrical industry.
Wow.
Fridges, TVs, and so on. And it's Christmas time. And Christmas time, it's a peak period for these kind of products. So I go to store every Saturday, trying to see the teams, how it's working. see a few the consumer needs and so on. And that Christmas Day, almost Christmas Day, the store is full, and we don't have enough salespeople, staff.
Okay.
So consumers are, impatient, waiting. So I said, well, okay, let's try to sell, And so I go myself as a sales guy, trying to sell the products to the consumers.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm impatient as well. I don't like to see people waiting.
Okay.
So I try to sell products, and it works. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It's not the issue. The issue is the store manager. He came to me and he said, Guillaume, you cannot do that. You're not very good. You're not a very good salesperson. You're very good at leader. You're very good at direction, strategy, and recruiting the right people. But you're not a good salesperson. And I think and he was right. And he was good enough to tell me. And that's very important to listen to that. So I stopped. And he was definitely right. And that's the biggest lesson for me. You need to delegate to the right people. And you're very good at some things, and you're not very good at other things. And it's okay. I'm not very good at everything. And I think I'm quite good at strategy, and I'm quite good at ambition and managing people. But selling, I'm not the best one, and that's it. So you need to recruit the best people for that.
Wow. Thank you for sharing this story.
You're welcome.
Wow. So next question is going to be like medium-term strategies. What are your growth drivers?
Growth driver, I think one is digital. We're good, but we're not excellent at digital. I think I want our share of digital sales to be much bigger. When through, consumers have been used to using digital. We still have a lot of stores in the world, which is great, but not enough sales in digital, not enough expertise in digital. So that's one of the things I'm going to push on in the medium term. 2 regions or 2 sub-regions we want to be better at in the long term, in the medium long term. One we talked about is Asia, Southeast Asia. We're not going to be great in China. We're not going to be great in Korea. The markets are already mature. Investing there, it's going to be difficult. And they're less into natural products than Thai market, Indonesian market, Malaysia. Southeast Asia is more about natural products.
Really? Wow.
So regional growth is going to come from Southeast Asia and USA.
USA.
We re-entering USA as from next month. We were in the past in the USA. It didn't work. We didn't have the right strategy. We didn't have the right people, not the right leadership team. So we're starting again.
Okay.
Next month. I'm very excited about it.
Wow.
It's a country or region I really like. So
Yeah, it's very big market.
and it's the number 1 market in the world.
Yes.
So we need to be present over there. There's a big trend also in the US about natural products, about safety products, and about efficient products. So we need to capitalize on that. And the third challenge, because we're there for the long term, is having the best brand in the world and being known for really being the leader in the world on Dermo Botanical Beauty. Dermo, because we efficient products, botanical, because we made of plants. And the world needs to know about it. So it's going to take years. I don't think it's going to be within 2 or 3 years. It's going to take 10 years, 20 years. I probably won't be there anymore in the Groupe Rocher because I'm 57. But I need to build it for the very long term, for the next generations.
Okay. So in a long term, what is your sustainability strategy?
As I sort of mentioned, one, we want to be 100% organic ingredients and ingredients we cultivate in our own fields. For the time being, we're more 93%, as I said. 2, we need to reduce our carbon footprint. We reduced it by 50% between 2024, 2019. It's a great step. It's great, but it's not enough. We need to reduce it even further. We'll go to 75% reduction by 2030, which means changing our transport,
Yes.
changing our packagings,
Wow.
changing, and sometimes not using packaging. So it's strange, I know, because packaging is important in the luxury, in the cosmetic market, but it's important for the planet. And the Gen Z generation, they understand that. So we need to go there. We need to use less water because water is a critical resource in the next few years, decades, and cosmetic use a lot of water. So we need to reduce the amount of water. That's why we're going more solid product. Today, I think solid products, it's about 4 or 5% of our sales worldwide. It needs to be 10, 20, 30% because the carbon footprint is better and the water use is lower. So that's what we need to do. And the last, but not least, is the plastic. Completely, if we can reduce plastic, that means our hygiene products, for example, they need all refillable products, reusable refills. But that's really changing our production, manufacturing. So it's a lot of investment. It will take a few years. But that's all these things we need to do.
Yeah, same question. What challenges are you facing? Especially in Thailand, we are trying to implement sustainability strategy, but sometimes it's very difficult. You have to change your packaging, you have to change your people mindset, and of course your supply chain. It takes time and it takes a lot of investment. So what challenges are you facing and what advice would you give to Thai entrepreneurs who would like to be more sustainable?
It's a huge challenge because sustainable, it's great, but sometimes it doesn't sell, or you need to explain what you're doing. And so it takes time. It takes a lot of communication. I'm lucky because of the team managing Yves Rocher in Thailand and most of the leadership teams everywhere in the world. They love the brand, they love the respect the planet, the power of plants, and our sustainability pillar. So they're totally convinced, and themselves, they try to diminish their single-use plastic. So themselves, they try, for example, to have a healthy diet, most of them. To eat less things that have a carbon footprint, a high carbon footprint. So the culture is very much into that. Now, how you pass that culture to the consumer? How we educate the consumer?
And sorry, you have this culture by design.
Yeah, because again, 65 years company. Don't forget, the founder spent a lot of time in nature. There was no plastic at the time. There was only beauty and natural. So we really, in our mind, want to protect, the planet and respect the nature. We're definitely convinced that nature is helping us to do our business. So how do we give back to nature? We do things at business level and we do things at personal level. So everybody, has a few free time to do things also, we keen on. So anyway, if I go back to how the important thing is to communicate what we do to the consumer. Because if the consumer is educated, he will do more things also. But that will take 10, 20, 30 years, 50 years. But the new generation, my kids, but also the Gen Z, they understand what's going on. They understand the climate change. They see it. In some countries, you really see it every day. So they're willing to do more. So now it's to put the right products in their hands. And that's why solid products, for example, is picking up. It used to be 0 of our sales. And as I mentioned earlier, it's between 4 and 5%. You may say it's not 100%, but it's still from 0, maybe 5 years ago, to 4 or 5% of our sales. It's a big jump. So it's feasible. So what I would say here to entrepreneurs is that today you cannot avoid the subject. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, you need to educate your team first. Because if your team hasn't the culture of sustainability, it's not going to work.
Right.
So it's the first really thing to do. And the second thing is, yes, some things you're going to try will work. Some things will not work, and it's okay. Restart and try something else. We started solid products 5 years ago. It's working. We're starting refill products. That means you refill, for example, your shampoo and so on. Will it work? I don't know. But it's something at least going in the right direction. So we're starting also asking the consumer in France to bring back their skincare products, which are made of glass, because glass is not very good as a carbon footprint. So from next month, they're going to bring their product back to us, and we're going to clean them and reuse them at manufacturing level, so that our carbon footprint can go down. Will it work? I don't know, but let's try.
Wow, interesting. Some might say that you are large enterprise, so you can do everything you wish. But for small businesses that they are struggle with product market fit, they try to gain more customers, or they are conscious about cash flow, something like that. So my question is, as a CEO, how do you prioritize everything on your plate? How do you control your speed and invest this, that, divest this, that? How do you do that?
Yeah, list of priorities. If you ask the same question to my team, they'll say, we need to prioritize more because we do too much. But at the same time, as I mentioned, the market is moving so quickly that if you don't try different things, you're not going to be ready when the big things comes. So that's why, we try a marketplace in France, that try about refill products, solid products. It's a lot of things for the teams. So you need really to have teams capable of absorbing a lot of work and also willing to test and learn, that culture I was mentioning. And then you have, and you mentioned it, we're a big company, it's easier in a way. The cash flow thing, we're also very conscious about cash flow. Because if you don't have any cash, you cannot invest. So I cannot do everything I would like to, which is good for the teams. So I prioritize also by, what's the payback?
Okay.
If the payback is, except for the sustainability part of it, but if the payback is, 10, 20 years, it's too long. So we look at things that we can test and learn from, but with a quick payback. Within a few months, if things are working or not. And you stop them. The reality, what sometimes we're not good at, that you can do. You have the mindset to do a lot of things, but see if they work or not. And don't continue on an avenue that's not going to work because you waste time. So sometimes you have to say, we stop, and it's a no. And it's difficult to do because the team working on that project, they're dedicated to it.
Yes.
And they want it to work.
Yes.
But you have to tell them no. We stop. And that's the harder thing to do, to say no to people. But you have to do it.
What's next?
What's next?
What's next for Yves Rocher as a CEO?
I'm traveling back to France tomorrow. Now, what's next is, as I said, we have a lot of projects on. Now we need really to get them to work. So I will spend some time, really on the USA because biggest market in the world, and we're starting very soon. And I will spend most of my time also Southeast Asia because if we're transparent, only 3 to 4% of our sales are in Southeast Asia in the world. So for us, it's not enough. So we want to be at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% in the next few years. And the next few years is very quick. So I need also to be where we want to be bigger and where our challenges are. So that's what is next. And as I described the strategy, I need to work on my profit. I need to work on, desirability of the brand. I think it's key to convey to the consumer and the non-consumer who we are. We haven't been very good at that. Communication, we're very good at creating, producing the products. Even store level, we're pretty good. But we're not very good at communicating to non-consumers, to the prospects, who we are. We do a lot of great things. If you go and see our fields, it's amazing. You have fields of flowers. And they're organic, and we take care of the water we use. but how do you transmit that to the consumer? That's what we need to do.
So what's your ultimate goal in the next maybe 5 years 2030 let's say
2030, good point. 2030, financially speaking, we want to be, as I said, about 10% probably Southeast Asia of our sales globally in the world. We want to be more profitable also, to be able to reinvest a lot in the marketing. That's really my goal. Today, we invest not so much in marketing. Tomorrow, we need to be maybe at 10% of our sales in marketing to be able to communicate to the non-consumer. So that would be one of the goals. That's the financial goal. Then there's the other part, as you know, about the power of plants, about revealing the power of plants, protecting it. I want bigger fields in Brittany to be able to produce our plants in Brittany. Because we're going to be bigger financially, we need also to have bigger fields. Capacity. And when we do that, we know that we do good for the planet. So I hope that the next generation, I'm capable of building a generation of management capable of having that vision about respecting the planet.
ตลอด1 ชั่วโมงที่ผมนั่งคุยกับคุณกิยมหนึ่งสิ่งที่ผมสังเกตได้ชัดเจนก็คือแพชชั่นและความสนุกในการทำงานของผู้ชายคนนี้ครับในฐานะผู้นำเหมือนกันผมจึงอยากขอเคล็ดลับพลังบวกจากเขาสักหน่อยทำไมคุณกิยมในวัย57 ปีถึงยิ้มแย้มและมีพลังงานล้นเหลือได้ขนาดนี้และสำหรับผู้นำหรือผู้ประกอบการไทยในมุมมองของผู้นำความงามจากฝรั่งเศสเขามองว่าอะไรคือทักษะหรือ mindset ที่สำคัญที่จำเป็นขาดไม่ได้ในอนาคตครับ
I guess 2 things. I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I love my job. I'm the lucky guy. I'm really the lucky guy in the company. I'm managing a company which is great in its values, which has a lot of projects. My mind is full every day of ideas and meeting people and listening to people. It's the lucky job. It's really. Yes, there's a bit of stress sometimes, as you probably guess, but so that's what's giving me motivation when I wake up in the morning. It's just like great day is coming.
Wow.
I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. I love also the meditation part, which is being grateful about what you have.
So you do meditation?
Yeah, I do meditation, and that's the second part of what keeps me energy and motivation is the diet, the meditation, the sport.
What sport?
I run.
Okay.
I did a few marathons, and because it gets my mind free of, ideas, and I try to keep a proper diet, which is not sometimes easy when you travel. So not eating too much, not drinking too much, but I drink, and the meditation is critical for me just to relax, because as you can see, maybe I'm impatient and a lot of energy, and sometimes I need to
slow down.
Yeah, I need to slow down and calm down.
Wow. When it comes to CEO responsibility, I think it takes a lot of jobs to do, and it's so stressed. But you try to balance yourself by doing meditation, running, something like that. But my last question: what skills or mindset do you think is the most important for being a great leader? The world is changing, and I think in the next 5 years it will be more uncertain, complex. Black swan, something like that can happen all the time.
You are right. It's moving faster and faster. The world is moving faster and faster. It's what I sort of mentioned a bit earlier about the listening, and I would add trust, listening and trust. You cannot do everything by your own. I'll never be the expert of the Thai market. I'll never be. You need to be conscious of that. So you need to listen to the team. They're the experts on the Thai market. So it's about listening. Otherwise, you make decisions from Paris, and they're the wrong decisions. So it's really that. And it goes with it that you need to trust your team. And sometimes they're going to do right, sometimes they're going to do wrong. But as long as they're capable of switching when they do wrong, that's fine. So it's really that mindset also trying to cultivate for myself. I think I'm a better listener than I used to be. And that takes a bit of training to listen, and I think I can still improve on that.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you very much. I had a very good time. Thank you.